So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to Aston Villa. Welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Villa 3, Brentford 1, and a very good win, I must say. Very good win. I know we're going to be, people are going to be overly critical of the second half, but when you're 3-0 up, look, it's going to be inevitable that you're going to try and conserve some energy, specifically when you get 7 games over a 21-day period. But 3 points was what we asked for, and 3 points was what we got, Paddy.
Yeah, and as I said, I'm not going to be too down on this one because all I wanted was 3 points tonight. Nothing else mattered. Losing is a habit. We've broken that habit. Winning is now a habit. We needed 3 points tonight. We need 3 points on Saturday, and I think the table will look a whole lot more positive by the end of Saturday. So it wasn't pretty. The second half wasn't pretty. I thought we were absolutely excellent, or else Brentford didn't turn up in the first half. Got a little bit sloppy as the game went on, but I think overall we did enough for the 3 points, and we should be happy with what we have.
Yeah. I'm not one bit happy about that game today. We can be critical about certain areas. We can say that, the second half we left them come back into it. I'm going to say it, and I had the tweet written about 4 times in the first half, and I didn't think it was right to write it when Villa were 3-0 up. But Damsgaard is an absolutely fine footballer. The goal he scored was a really good goal. Outside of that, they didn't do anything really to test Aston Villa. If I was them, I would be wondering about their big signing in Igor Thiago. But that's not my job to wonder about it. I just get Wesley vibes off him. There were a lot of injuries in their team. We came out, we did our job professionally in the first half, and to go in 3-0, as I say, with a team like this, it was always going to be the skids in the second half. And we gave away a lot of possession, but in the first half we capitalized on everything, and we still only gave away a handful of shots on target. Let's talk about some goals, Paddy, because the Rodgers goal was. I'm just watching it back here again. It's just a really good finish. Like, that's what he has in his locker. He's someone that I can't remember what Twitter account I saw. I just had up and said, "Has it gone to his head?" It wasn't about anyone in particular, but it was obviously about Rodgers. And literally, I was just looking at it, and about 4 seconds later, pings it in the top corner, and I was like, go to his head all he wants if he wants to ping him in the top corner like that. Thought he was a much more improved player tonight, Paddy. What did you make of him?
Yeah, he looked like, I know I've said this a few times, but he looked to play a little bit deeper tonight, and I think it helped. He got that space to open up for him and gave him the ability to go by players a little bit easier. I think that's his best position, just to drop that little bit deeper. So I was happy to see him in that position. But look, he did look kind of back to himself. I know a lot of people said he looked like he was coughing and spluttering over the last few weeks. We got to give him the benefit of the doubt that was something we didn't hear about too much. But he certainly looked back to himself tonight, and there's no reason to be alarmed by the recent form. But I was just happy to see him run at people from deeper, because I think that's his strength. I think when it's too congested in there and he's higher up the pitch, we don't get the same Morgan Rodgers. And it stretches that final third when he's running from deeper, because 2 players automatically come to go to him. One to track the ball, and one to protect if he gets by that person. So it's given us a lot of space. So that's my one take from Morgan Rodgers tonight. That, and the fact that it was an absolutely brilliant finish. It really was lovely. And look, he was his kick on the arse a couple of weeks ago. It's a pat on the back now. He deserves it after tonight's performance, and we're probably right to call out that the performance wasn't up to it the last few weeks. And I think he probably did that himself.
Absolutely, I think so, for sure.
To answer your question, I doubt very much that it's gone to his head. I don't think he's that type of
Ah,
young man.
yeah.
So I would be questioning that comment if that's who it was about.
Yeah. Paddy, the way a lot is put in, or a lot of stock, I suppose, of football fans is put in player ratings. Specifically, I suppose, player ratings from websites and stuff like that. And I like who scored. I'm not going. This isn't me giving out about who scored, but I'm giving out about a rating that they have. I use who scored an awful lot. They gave Boubacar Kamara a 6.1 rating.
Well,
Jesus
you got to ask yourself what
the
idiot,
man was absolutely
is
excellent.
sitting there doing that. I don't know.
The
what
man
game's
was excellent today. Excellent.
Yeah.
I thought today.
Would you
But-
believe I'm looking at player ratings here from the one I usually use, which is FootMob, and
Mhm.
they've given Boubacar Kamara 6.5.
I see. It must be algorithmic.
6.9.
Yeah, who scored gave 6 to 7 point, or gave Mings a 7.2. I think it must be algorithmic because he didn't. He was just everywhere for a good portion of the game. He was brilliant. I thought he was back defending. It was our last line of defense. He was chasing back wingers at times. He was the man who was stood on the halfway line when we had corners as well, which I thought was good, and not having a winger stand back there. I am fastly regaining a real love for seeing Boubacar Kamara in this team. Is it fool's gold again, Paddy, or is it? Are we seeing the best of him again and seeing something that we missed, I suppose, in both him and Mings since they've been out of the team?
He's been a huge loss. Mings not so much, because Torres gives you a lot of what Mings does in a football sense. But he's been a huge loss. He's just so composed on the ball. Has he got a mistake in him? Absolutely. They all have. But he's not absolutely perfect, but he's by far and away our best defensive midfield player. He doesn't just break up play. He can take on a player. He can play his way out of trouble. He's just got so much in his locker. He's absolutely brilliant. And you feel a lot more comfortable with him in there. Now, I know the beginning of the second half, it did get a little bit ropey for a while, and then we did give away a goal. We just look a little bit disjointed, and we'll get to that in a while. But I think it's no surprise that we're looking at him and Tyrone Mings for man of the match. And I know Lucy Ward gave Tyrone Mings man of the match. I would have said it was a toss of a coin between him and Boubacar Kamara tonight. The one thing I loved about Tyrone Mings was, you alluded to it during the week about during COVID when you could hear him. You could hear him tonight. Now I know I know it was a horrible dank night in B6 tonight, so there was a lot of people missing, a lot of people sick, as we said in the team sheet tantrum. The crowd were quieter than usual, but still, you've got that leadership on the pitch with Tyrone Mings, and that's the one thing that Pau Torres does not give you. And there's so much for it. There's so many pluses for it. It's great to have him in there, and it's great to have him in there looking back to himself. It was great to see him get in from the start. I did kind of when I saw it, because I worried about him and his let's go and choose my word carefully. His state of mind after the mistake in Bruges. So it was great to see him back in there and playing well, and absolutely didn't put a foot wrong. But I would question whether it was either him or Boubacar Kamara as man of the match.
And this is why I've been like, one of the big things that you get with Mings is you get blocks, you're throwing your body at it, and you get, when balls are headed out of the box, they go out of the box. He's like that's what I love about Mings. Mings can't turn on a sixpence and deliver a slide rule pass through midfield to Ollie Watkins' feet. He can play it over, he can play diagonal balls, no problem. So you don't lose that. You don't lose what Pau Torres does when you have Mings. And this is why I've been alluding to, if you play three at the back, Tyrone Mings starts in the centre of a three all day long for me. It's why I've been talking about it since the start of last season. It's why I've said it since the start of this season. I think Unai would be good, would be smart to try it. Now, this is not the period of games to do it. As I said, 7 games in 21 days, starting with the Juventus game, I think it was, just not the time to do it. But it's some option, because of the different skill sets the three of them have. Another thing I loved about the back four that we had today is I thought they all played really well. Konza balled Matty Cash out of it at one stage. Didn't see that once against Chelsea. I have a funny feeling this team at a rocket put up it because of that, because of the meek nature the Chelsea game, the meekness that the Chelsea game showed, the lack of drive. You saw it a couple of times today that I think I saw Watkins giving out to Rodgers for not laying the ball off, and it's okay to give out to players, give out to your players, demand more from them. Thought the link-up play from the two of them was really good, but going back to the back four again, I thought they were brilliant. I thought they were really good today. I thought the communication was better. There was only 2 instances I saw of poor communication in that right hand side, but it all. I think it all comes from the stability of that back four playing together so much, and having a Kamara in front of him that just knows how to screen in front of the back four. I was beaming with the first 65 minutes, albeit we conceded, beaming with the first 65 minutes of that game, and I understood that the last 25 minutes of the game were going to be a bit of conservation. There was going to be players being brought on. Like, the most frustrating person for me on the field today, a lot of people would say it was Barkley. Jesus, John Duran nearly made me fucking pull my fingernails out at one stage. He's just so unpredictable, and he can't run the channels, and that's the difference from watching the first half of Ollie Watkins being able to hold the ball up and run the channels when he needed to Duran coming on and doing something that Ollie Watkins could never do, and sliding tackle no one, yet get away an absolute rasper of a shot. So you obviously, look, I say frustrating in a joking way, but it was a change up of style. I think that kind of deadened a lot of our performance for the last 25 minutes because we didn't have a fluidity up top. So I can forgive the last 25 minutes from that point of view. And what you make of it, what you think, Paddy? You were going to talk about a small bit about disjointedness in the second half. Was it going along those lines or something different?
Yeah, no, I was fine with it. I expected it to come. Being 3-0 up, you will get a little bit of complacency. We've seen that disjointed period last 90 minutes for a few games over the last few weeks, so it was going to come. But it did. It just had a little bit of an effect on me that I was worried that we could get turned over, especially when they scored. And it was only really on about 85 minutes I went, I think this is in the bag. They're not laying a glove on us. I think we had 10 shots on target to 1. That tells the story of the game, really. There was one stat there of touches in the final third. They had a load of touches in the final third during that period of the second half. But the job was done in the first half. That's the most important thing. I still don't think we know who our penalty taker is. I'm a little bit worried there. He got away with one.
As long as they go in.
Once they go in, that's all that matters. But he definitely got away with one.
Yeah, but like we won't remember that in 4 weeks' time if he sticks to one. That's kind of my way of thinking.
Yeah,
World Cups are won on dodgy penalties.
I also want to call out the absolute madness of PGMOL to allow our third goal to stand, given what they did to Southampton yesterday.
To Southampton. Southampton's one was ridiculous.
But like they were nearly identical. They both went for the ball. Watkins goes for the ball. So
Southampton's one was even more egregious. The distance away from goal that your man was.
But we like I'm always calling these out when they go against us.
Oh, you're right.
I don't believe that third goal should have stood. And if I was Southampton, I'd be writing a strongly worded letter to PGMOL, having seen what they did tonight. Or maybe PGMOL have learned from what they did with Southampton. I don't know. But I don't think they know themselves what they're doing. They just make it up as they go along.
Yeah, I think the Southampton goal, I think the Southampton was the egregious one, not our one. But if you give the Southampton one, then clarification should have been given in the press this week to say, like, PGMOL should be able to say, look, lads, we can't fucking replay the game. We made a mistake. They did that for a couple. They did that for like Liverpool, Arsenal, if I remember right, a couple of years back. maybe it might have even been this year, maybe it might have even been last year. I can't remember. They should just be able to say that, and then clubs have clarity going forward, as opposed to the no club really knows what the story is now. Even was it Thomas Soucek had a goal disallowed for impeding the goalkeeper against Leicester last night, and like it was even tamer than Diego Carlos's one against Di Gregorio. It was like there's all these man-made and self-imposed grey areas that referees come out after the game. They say, "Okay, we've had a chance to have a look at it. I think I might have got that wrong. We can't replay the game. The game is finished now. Going forward, the directive will come from BGM1." Look, it's a grown-up thing to do. A lot of people would then give out about but the betting sites and stuff like that. Then if they've paid out, if they've been blah blah, fuck them. They sign up to all that stuff gets signed up to day one. It's human error is human error, and that's the way it is for me. But yeah, you're right. I thought he was good ref though. I thought he was fine. Apart from that, I thought he was grand. Like there was no.
He didn't have many big decisions to make. I thought he
gave a free kick for the frees that were frees though.
He gave a free against Bailey in the first half, which I thought was a free to Bailey. And if he didn't give that, he should have booked him for diving because that's what he was doing him for. But then there's a handball in the box. So the handball in the box should have been looked at by PGMOL because there was no whistle blowing at that stage. So anyway, there you go. That's the referee talk out of the way. The most important thing tonight is that our league position is looking much, much better than it did earlier today. And it's hopefully the start of a decent run, and we can add to that now on Saturday against a pretty poor Southampton side.
We talk about Ollie Watkins there and his penalty. I was actually, and once again, I will say I'm the fellow who stamps the tickets in the Ollie Watkins fan bus. I was even blown away when I checked it up. He's 7 goals and 14 appearances for Villa in the Premier League this year. But imagine, like, he's missed a ton of chances. Like, I mean, he could be 14 and 14, Yeah. And that's, it's the problem this season, all right. Like, he scored 19 goals in the league last year. He scored 15 the year before. He's going to get to double digits, no problem. But the reason I'm putting that up is because
7 and 14 is form to get 19 goals because it'll be half the game. So, that's absolutely fine. But still, we had a couple of occasions tonight where, he's trickling the ball into the goalkeeper and stuff like that. So, it needs to be
I think
better.
that one was blocked, but I thought the same. I went, that's not the finish he needs.
Needs to
blasted another one at him at his near post as well. So yeah. But look, a goal is a goal. I think and it's good for his confidence. The third goal, of course, was scored by Matty Cash, and I thought that was an absolute that was a great goal. We talked about the Watkins potential offside or actual offside or whatever it is. But I have to say, I just love to see that when a right back gets into the position and just has a swing at it. Specifically Matty Cash like that. Like the goals Cash scored against Burnley last year were different types of goals. This one is just a case of I'm having a swing at this, and if I connect with it right, there's no goalkeeper saving it. Keeper gets a hand to it, it goes in the back of the net. Fair play. I love that goal. I love it from the simple point of view that McGinn makes a brilliant run forward, and lung bust through midfield. I thought McGinn was on and off today. I thought he was right to be taken off, but this was a great passage of play from him. Brought the ball forward. Who clipped it in? Was it Morgan Rogers clipped it to the back post? I think, or was it Digne?
I think it was Rogers.
I think it was Rogers too. And then, as I say, the boys getting away, or Watkins gets in the way, but Matty Cash just swings a right foot at it. And I thought Matty Cash was rock solid today. Thought they threw a lot at him in that second half. Regardless of whether it was Bailey or whether it was Philogene, he had zero protection throughout the whole game. Yet he comes up with a goal, and the two boys that were playing in front of him don't. Look, when I say rock solid, I mean all things considered, he could have been a bit better. I thought your man Lewis Potter had a lot of joy down there, but it was a 1-on-1 foot race with a 10-yard start for Lewis Potter for a lot of the game. So, and that is an issue going forward, that you can't have that much space in front of a Matty Cash or anybody, regardless if we are right back in the modern game. But fair play to him for getting his goal, and I was delighted it was him for a finish, to be honest.
There's a guy on Twitter does a prediction league, and he asked me to join it this year. Deontay is his name, and I've been absolutely atrocious but he's just retweeted my prediction for tonight, and I predicted 3-1.
You predicted 3-2 on this podcast.
3-2 on the podcast, but I had forgotten what I did in that because I've been so poor. But yeah, so I got something right tonight anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, look, I think there's a ton of positives that can be taken from this. Absolute ton of them. A get good game, I think, is what they call it in the States. Something like this. Obviously, we get our 3 points. We're back in 7th position, I think, now. 2 points off Brighton, 3 points off. Well, that could be all changed. I was looking at in play, but we're 5 points off Chelsea in 3rd place. So look, it's back in our hands again. You know, from a Southampton point of view, at the weekend we've got Southampton, and some of these players came off with 25 minutes to go, and that's a good break for these players. That they like, arguably you could say the previous 20 minutes before they were taken off, there was a lot of trotting around the place being done as well, and there was active recovery, I think they like to call it in coaching manuals. But I think Unai will be super pleased with this tonight. I didn't see his press conference. If anyone saw it, let us know if he was if there was any injuries or anything like that that came from it.
I'd be surprised if it was anything other than positive. A special shout out to the world's number one, who obviously came back from whatever small bit of surgery he had done yesterday, or fixing that little break. And fair play to him for standing, even though he didn't have a whole pile to do. But I think it's a mark of a man that can go and be part of it when he's obviously under a little bit of stress and de-stress with the pain that's there. So fair play to him. I'm sure he probably got an injection for the pain, but it's important that we have him there. I think the team plays better with him behind us. So I think we can look at. I think like there was a couple of people talking about you even mentioned how hot and cold John McGinn was. I still think he was much better than he has been over the last couple of weeks. So it's important that we call these things out as well. It's positive, and huge couple of weeks ahead. So we've got one half of the 6 points that I needed from these two games. If we can go and get the other half of that at the weekend, I think we'll be in a much brighter position heading into Leipzig on Tuesday.
Absolutely, I think so too. And Leipzig, talk about us having a get good game. I think Leipzig had a great game as well today, and they seem to be hitting a bit of form recently, specifically in the league. Albeit the Champions League has slipped away. Of course, they are, exactly. They're going to be playing Aston Villa, but we will be back with Southampton and Leipzig previews. But today we're going to bask in that 3-1 win. Aston Villa taking 3-goal leads has been a rarity at times since the turn of 2024. I know we did it against Sheffield United on the 3rd of February, and the reason I know that is because we had about 190 to 250 Aston Villa fans screaming and shouting at a screen that would barely work for the first 10 minutes of the game, and we were hoping no one would score after we had the Paul McGrath interview. But I think Villa were by far the better team today. Brentford had some good players that dragged them back into the game, like Damsgaard and to a lesser extent, I think Lewis Potter on that left hand side. But Villa come out 3-1 victors tonight, and I think they have to be super happy with their performance and their levels today, and hopefully they take that in to Southampton at the weekend. Paddy, a bit of a production meeting here while we're on air. I am likely at a 3-year-old's birthday party on Saturday for the team sheet tantrum. But that gives me a great excuse to go out into the car and do it from there. So we might be a bit disjointed for the team sheet tantrum on Saturday. So bear with us on that one.
There's no panic at all. I'm getting used to them now, so I'll be there, and I'll steady the ship as much as I can anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the guys will help me out in the comments by giving me some content to talk about. So
I'll be on all right. It's just I won't be here in my studio. A couple of lads saying here that Southampton are red tonight. Stevens is sent off. Yeah, Stevens is sent off for pulling Mark Cucurelli's hair. So Jack Stevens won't.
You're joking me.
And I'm dead serious. And it was a tame enough pull as well, to be honest with you. It was nothing like what happened in Euros. So yeah, he got sent off for pulling Cucurelli's hair. So he won't be there at the weekend, and they ship goals today against Chelsea, and they are looking not great at the minute. Nigel Brooks, happy 62nd birthday! Thanks a million for
Got
watching.
3 points for your birthday, Nigel. Thanks for listening
And
in on
big-
your way home from Villa Park today. You nearly shared a birthday with Paul McGrath, who was 65 today, I believe.
Yeah, he gets the free travel.
Seeing as God was born on the 4th of December, does that make this Christmas Day?
With God's son,
God's
isn't
son.
it? Well, I suppose.
Okay.
Look, hey, we'll save it for the theology podcast, Paddy, that we'll have over Christmas. That's what we'll do. We'll save it for because isn't there something there to do with the Holy Trinity and all that kind of stuff? I'll have to dust off my Bible and see what the crack is with that. But for the time being, we're going to stick to scouting series as opposed to celestial series and talking about everything religious because there's a minefield that I don't want to open up. But happy birthday to Mr. McGrath. You got your 3 points, and happy birthday to Mr. Brooks as well. And thanks a million to both of you for watching, because I just presume Paul McGrath's watching. Just presume at this stage. Barclays 31st birthday tomorrow as well. Well, he was giving away presents in the middle of midfield for a good portion of that second half today. We say that joke, and I was delighted to see him come on because he did have 1 or 2 good passes, but he was trying to force things, I think, in the second half. But anyway, right, we're going to do it. We're going to leave it. I'm sure the other podcasts are champing at the bit to come on. I'm sure you're going to have a Claret and Blue around midnight at some stage this evening, and up to Villa we'll probably be doing the fan cams. So go take in all the Villa channels between now and whatever time you're supposed to wake up tomorrow morning and drink in a 3-1 win. Hopefully this is Villa back, and we will be back probably tomorrow evening or Friday morning with a preview of the Southampton game. And I hope you'll join us for that as well. So thanks very much, everybody. Stay safe.
Keep an eye on your feed, because I have some news that just broke while we're on air here, and me and Neil might have something special in the next couple of days. So we'll see what happens. I'll tell Neil off air, and
I've no clue what he's talking about. I've not a notion what he's on about. So my reaction here is genuine. Yeah. Right, go away. Let us talk, will you? Stop eavesdropping. We'll see you later. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Good
Up
luck.
the Villa.
Up the Villa.